Welcome to the fourth part of my SPF NS guide, which is all about GRF, also known as Ground Response Force. If you are new here, do watch part 1 to 3 after this video, which will all be linked in the description below. I also do other Singapore related content, so do check them out as well. So, as pretty much the only YouTuber to do a guide video on SPF NS, I often get messages and comments asking me questions about it, and the most common type of question I get is about the GRF vocation. So I thought I'll just make a full in-depth video so that for anyone that has any questions about GRF in the future, they can just simply refer to this video. Once again, most of the information in this video can be found online, and I'm aware of what I'm allowed and not allowed to say. Alright, so firstly, the training. To summarize it, it was pretty much POBC part 2. Literally just days after your POC, you'll be back in HTA, sleeping in your bunks, cold showers, daily water parades, while all your other squad mates have been posted out to their unit and get to stay out every day. Yeah, the 3 months of training is probably the worst part about GRF. But hey, no pain no gain, because your life in NPC after training will definitely be worth it. NPC stands for Neighborhood Police Center, by the way. So even though your rank in GRF is now one rank higher than when you were in POBC, that doesn't mean you can do whatever you want to do, because you are still considered as a trainee. You still need to march from places to places, and you will still need to do bunk inspection before book out, etc. The only difference is there will be different courses from POBC, like FRT, which is First Responder Training, where you get to wear a vest and hold a riot shield to practice how to handle scenarios such as a terrorist attack, a hostage case, a riot, and other stuffs. And during one of the days, you'll be given small bullets similar to paintball pellets, which you can actually shoot at your squad mates to simulate one of the scenarios. And it is fucking pain, bro. Bring like some pain relievers or something, otherwise the bruises are gonna stay there for days. There will also be a taser training, since GRFs get to carry a taser. However, from what I've heard, not every NPC let the SCs carry tasers due to undisclosed reasons. So if you were to get in one of the NPCs, then unfortunately for you, all the training is for nothing. There are also practical lessons like learning how to use the body-worn camera, how to wear a hazmat suit and gas mask in case of a chemical attack case, also tests, SBA and IPPT which you have to pass in order to pass out, and driving lessons for your free license. Yes, if you didn't know, you get a free class 3 driving license if you join GRF, which is one of the main reasons I put GRF in my vocation choices. I think the standard cost for a license in Singapore is like what, 2 to 3k? So of course, who doesn't want it for free, right? But you might be asking, a driving license usually takes around 3 to 6 months in Singapore, but the GRF course is only 3 months, so how is it going to work? Well, because of this, we actually get our license in less than a month, and I'm not even joking. From my first practical lesson to my TP test, it took around 3 weeks. BTT and FTT only took 1 day per test, so yeah, in total less than a month. Why this is possible is because they put you in as many lessons as possible in a day. Sometimes we have to go for lessons on our bookout days as well, and there will be like 5 to 7 lessons straight from morning to night time. But I mean, I'm not complaining because the license is literally free. Now, according to this Reddit post, it seems to be much stricter now than before, because everyone must get IPPT Silver, which includes 11-15 minute for the 2.4 km run, and a minimum of 10 pull-ups, which was never a thing during my time. And also, not eating your vegetables will result in confinement. Like what? He also mentioned in the comments that these new so-called rules started from intake 190 onwards. I was from intake 185, so I don't know how true this is. But if it is, then yeah, that's quite shag, not gonna lie. During these 3 months, there will be a 2-week attachment where you get to choose an NPC you want to go, and you get to experience and see how an actual police officer does their job before getting posted to your permanent NPC. You can refer to this photo taken from SPF's Facebook post a few years ago. Of course, it's outdated, so there's probably a few changes. Like, for example, there is now a Woodley NPC that opened last year, which is part of Ang Mo Kio Division. Which NPC should I choose, you might ask? For your permanent NPC posting after your GRF training, you can't choose, and you will most likely be posted to the nearest NPC to your house. But it will depend on manpower requirement and your race. Don't ask me why. This is from another Reddit comment. You can pause the video to read if you want to. Every NPC is different in terms of workload, challenges, and many other factors. If you want a more interesting and more challenging attachment life, go to Geylang or Rochor because these are places with higher crime rates in Singapore. If you want a more chilled and relaxed attachment life, go to a NPC in a neighbourhood area like maybe Queenstown or Pasir Ris. Because neighbourhood areas typically have lesser crime rates, except Yishun, my advice would be to choose an NPC that is far away from your house so that you get to experience the side of Singapore that you don't usually go to. Or go to NPCs like Orchard or Marina Bay, where you can enjoy some good views of Singapore for 2 weeks. Don't be like me and go to a neighbourhood area NPC just because it was close to my house, and then get the same NPC for my permanent posting. In the NPC, there will be different teams, which will be posted to one of them, and this team of officers will be like your permanent colleagues until you ORD. Each team will consist of one team leader, one deputy team leader, regular officers, and a few SCs. You'll be assigned your own locker in the NPC, where you can put your GRF bag, your duty belt, and other stuffs as well. Speaking of duty belt, here's a fun fact for you. Have you noticed that the placement of the equipments is different for almost every officer? That's because you can customize your duty belt to whatever you like it to be. Of course, don't put your firearm at like the back of your belt, otherwise you're gonna have a hard time taking it out in case you need to use it. So here is my duty belt setup. Sorry it's a bit dark because of the lighting. Because I'm a right-hander, I put my firearm on the right side of my belt. Next to it is a pouch, which I'll talk about it in a while. On the left side is a speed reloader to store extra ammo for the firearm. Beside it is the taser. And next to it is the baton, which I don't think you can see much from this photo. The behind is just handcuffs and a radio set. So going back to the pouch, this is actually not an SPF issue item, which is why you can see that in these photos, they are all different pouches. And that's because this is purchased from Shopee. It's not necessary to buy one, but it can definitely come in handy during certain cases. There's many compartments in this, so you can put like gloves in here, a torchlight here. You can also put a phone in here and just many other things here. There will be a link in the description below if you want to get one, and I highly recommend it, honestly. Okay, for the shift in GRF, it will be 2 in 2 out, meaning after you finish one morning and one night shift, you will have 2 days off. The standard timing for shift is 12 hours, usually 8 to 8. Different NPCs may have different shift timings, so it's best to ask someone in your team to double confirm. But do note that this 12-hour shift isn't actually 12 hours. You will have to come earlier before the shift starts to draw your equipments, like your firearm, handcuffs, body camera, also drawing your vehicle and checking the car equipments, as well as a briefing by the team leader before the start of every shift. During the shift, you or your in charge will drive the police car to patrol your sector and conduct foot patrols. I think it should be pretty obvious that, for example, if you're in Punggol NPC, then obviously you'll be patrolling the Punggol sector. You can't just like drive to Jurong to patrol or anywhere you want in Singapore. But yeah, while patrolling, if someone calls 999 and is in your sector, then you need to attend to the case. Oh, and don't worry, you won't be outside for the whole shift. There will be official rest timings during your shift where you can either rest or settle admin work. After your shift is done, you return back to your NPC to return your vehicle and equipments for the next team to take over your team. Your team leader might do a debrief, then you might have to settle a few admin stuffs, and then you can go home. But sometimes you might get a last minute or a very long case. I once had a murder case where I stayed at scene from 5:30 AM to about 11:30. That's like about 16 hours of shift. Basically, don't expect every shift to be 12 hours, even though you're only paid for 12 hours. So, what is your job as a SC in GRF exactly? SCs cannot become an in-charge, and thus there will be a regular officer who is in charge in every car. Each car can range from 2 to 4 officers, depending on manpower availability. As a SC, you'll most likely be what's known as the second man. I won't talk about the details, but your main job will be to help out your in-charge during the shift. During your attachment, you'll be a third man, which means you observe and learn how the in-charge and second man do their job. Every in-charge have their way of handling cases, so please ask them first and don't just make decisions yourself. Like I said, your job is to help out your in-charge and not get them into trouble from your own decisions. In some NPCs, they might even put SCs on counter duty. It's basically sitting at the NPC counter to help members of public make police reports, as well as other admin work throughout the shift. Yes, you're allowed to take leave and MC if you're sick, and you also get a monthly allowance which includes your rank, vocation, and meal allowance. Speaking of monthly allowance, here is an estimated amount you get in total according to your rank. Also for the ranks, whether you are SC2, SC Corporal or SC Sergeant, you will still be doing the same job. There's no such thing in GRF where a SC Sergeant can command a SC2 or SC Corporal to do things. Because only regulars can be an in charge as mentioned, unlike for example Transcom where SCs can be a group leader. Whereas every SC in GRF is doing the same second man job. In the NPC I was in anyways, I don't know about other NPCs. I guess for SCs is a bit more based on seniority, but I don't know, in my NPC most of the SCs were very nice to each other. Now to summarize GRF, I found this Reddit comment which I think perfectly sums up my GRF experience. Again, feel free to pause and read the whole thing if you want. It's the most fulfilling vocation you could ever have. Free class 3 license, the ability to experience a wide range of cases, from petty neighbouring disputes to seeing the body of some skydiver who decided to end it all. These cases will definitely fuck you up mentally and emotionally. Not to mention the physical toll on your body due to shift work. And it's true, night shifts fuck me up the most. I usually sleep at like 11 or 12 at night, so sometimes during the shift, I'll look at the clock and it's like 2 AM and I still have 6 more hours to go. Not even a Red Bull or coffee will help sometimes. As for the cases, I can let you know some of the common cases that I've attended to. Singaporeans love to complain about everything, so noise complaint cases are pretty common. Neighbour dispute and death cases. Murder cases are also very common in Singapore. Okay, no, I'm joking. VCH or voluntarily causing hurt, aka assault. And missing person cases are quite common as well. Cases like murder, person with weapons, fire resulting to death are uncommon ones that I've attended to before. The number of cases you get per day actually kind of depends on your luck on the day and also the sector. However, many of my pals have attested that GRF work has benefited them since they can improve communication skills to be able to convey their words properly to the MOP. They will be desensitized to stuff like personal insults from the MOP and dead bodies towards the end of their NS journey. Yeah, so be prepared to be shouted nasty things by not just criminals, but sometimes your higher ups as well. Just know that every silly mistake you do, your team leader will also be held accountable for. Back then, I would feel sad or hurt when criminals threw insults at me, but I've slowly accepted that this is part of my job and that I shouldn't take it to heart cause I'm only just doing my job. So yeah, you have to be mentally strong and thick-faced as a GRF officer. Which is why I've said in my previous videos before that I'm numb to hate comments already. And yes, I agree that your communication skills will improve after joining GRF. It is definitely a very fulfilling vocation because you get to help out so many people and essentially be a hero for your NS. Okay, before I end this video, here are some tips for those joining GRF or currently in GRF. I'm sure most of you will be scared or nervous for death cases. My first death case was a suicide jumper, like literally less than a month since I joined my NPC. I'm gonna be honest, I was a little bit scared when heading to the scene. But as soon as I stepped out of the vehicle, all my nerves just went away. I don't know, it feels like the police uniform gives you superpowers sometimes, for me anyways. Like, even for the murder case, where there was a pool of blood and organs on the floor, I wasn't shook or anything honestly. So if you're scared or anything, my advice would be to treat the bodies as like mannequins. But not in a disrespectful way, of course. And maybe try not to look at their faces too much. I think the more you attend to death cases, the more you get used to it. Try to sleep at least 2 hours in total before night shift, otherwise you get tired at like halfway through the shift. And lastly, write down notes when you learn new things along the way. If you have a bad memory like me, you might forget certain things because there is so much you need to learn in GRF. I make it a habit to write it down on my phone the moment I learn something new so that I can refer to it next time if I need to. And yeah, let me know what questions you have in the comments below and I'll try to answer what I can answer. Don't ask me to make a video on another vocation cause obviously I was from GRF, so I'm not too familiar with the other vocations. Remember to check out my other videos on my channel and do subscribe if this is helpful to you. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.